So I was here practicing and I thought, what about sharing my warm-up routine with you guys? I think with a video like this, it's interesting maybe to get ideas, to see what other people do. Also to think about how your warm-up routine is. Maybe if you could make it more efficient, you could add some variety, you could change it up a little, maybe not, maybe stick to something different, analyze. So I want to share what I do on my warm-up routine, why I do such things, and hopefully that helps you out deciding maybe on how yours should look like. Now, it would be interesting if you pause the video for a second and you write in the comments below how your warm-up routine looks like, and just one sentence or two, or even bullet points. And then, after I have shown you how mine looks like, we can compare it and see how far off we were from each other. Before we continue though, I really need to finish to schedule for tomorrow live stream. If you'd like to join the live stream, you can do it as a one-time, or you can join as a patron and have access to all our live streams and be part of our forum and share stuff and practice together and just do some nice music together. Feel free to check down below the link to the live stream details, or on my website on the homepage there are always the upcoming live streams there where you can sign up. Let's get to work. So live stream all ready and good to go for Sunday. Well, actually good to go, not yet. I still today need to take some time to finish to prepare all the musical examples and exercises that we are going to do on Sunday. So if you're not part of the academy yet, you can be part of one live stream just to see how it is. The link will be down in the description, or you can always join as a patron and have access to all the replays and all the future live streams, all the content of the academy, everything. Either way, let's go back to what we were talking before about our warm-up routine. So how does my warm-up routine look like? Actually, I have two different warm-up routines, and sometimes I would consider three, but let's say that officially I have two. So here I'm showing you my Fourscore app. Is the app that I use to practice. I really like this one, and I have everything organized in what they call set list. So like this, I can have a list of my different stages of practicing. So my first warm-up routine is really just start off with sight reading. This is what I usually do in the morning, and this is a great way for me to wake up my brain, to connect musically, to read something new, give a little bit of fresh air, and yeah, just start the practicing. Sometimes I do about 15 minutes. Sometimes if I have a lot more to do, I will do less, and sometimes I might do half an hour. But more or less about 15 minutes, it's really the sweet spot, given the extensive list of things to practice that I have. Then on my first warm-up of the day, after the sight reading, I will do some left hand stuff. Right now I'm working on this aguado method here. And I just like to go through the entire thing because it has all these rhythm variations and different, how to say, movements of the left hand. It has also all the explanations. It's in Spanish, but I believe there is an English version somewhere in the internet, which I didn't find yet. And this aguado is some slow work, different exercises, different perspective. You also get to learn the insights of all these composers and the methodology, the fingerings and all their ideas, which is super, super interesting. I'm learning a lot from this. Then after that, I like to start with one voice scales, and then I do some rhythmizations on it to be more precise on the hand synchronization, rhythm control, and all this good stuff. I like to do the scales in every tonality, and I really particularly like this Ganji method. Probably have heard me saying about it in one tutorial before, because it has 3 different fingerings for every scale, which that's really cool. You get to really practice all the fretboard. So as you can see, I actually like very much to write the dates of when I'm practicing something, because more or less I kind of do like about 3 to 4 days, sometimes more if it's a scale that feels really weird with the fingering. And the first day I read it slowly, I make sure that I kind of get the movement down, that I can play relaxed, the positioning, the sound. And then from the second, third day, I start to add rhythmizations, and maybe I try to bring the speed a little bit up. The other thing that I do is scales on intervals. And if you get used to read the intervals real fast and the fingerings and how that translates to the guitar, it makes it much easier because it's like vocabulary that you are used to see. So this is super useful to do. Plus, when you have scales that are not monodic, so scales with two voices, they are very useful because you get to work on all these horizontal movements of the fingers, and it forces you actually to keep a good position because you cannot be playing like that. So for so many things, I really like to have scales on my daily routine. And then after the sight reading and the scales, I like to do some work for my left hand. As I told you, I always try to prioritize some extra exercises here and there to work on my left hand. Given that I have a smaller hand, I really need to maximize my potential of the things that I can do with it. So I always have extra exercise for it. I'm using Pujol method, a couple of exercises that he has, and I particularly choose these two exercises because it treats a stretch that for me is rather uncomfortable. So it's something that I want to work on the long term, and is the stretch between the fourth finger being somewhere on the trebles and the fourth being high up on the basses, this vertical stretch. And this exercise basically has a scale with 3 notes. So it has this type of movement where you constantly need to be putting on and off the third finger, keeping the chord position. And that for me is very helpful because it helps me gain control of just a position that it's very odd for my hand. And it extends, let's say, the fingers in a position where they don't naturally really want to go there. So this would be more the compressed version. And then there is the other with a little bit more extension to practice a little bit extra distance. So these exercises actually come in different arpeggio variations. You see on the bottom, they are indicated all these arpeggio variations that one can try, but I can also make different ones. If I see that a change of position is particularly tricky, I will complicate my life even more to get to practice it. And this exercise has helped me so much to keep the control of the third finger to stay much more in position. And eventually these type of things translate to many moments of my playing where this is very helpful. After this, I moved to some chromatic exercises to practice more the linear thing, more for speed, for right hand power. And believe it or not, right now, I'm just walking through this book here. And I'm doing this book because mostly it has many chromatic exercises. Let me show you here. The one I think was 9. Yes, this one. Just all chromatic lines up and down. But it also has many other exercises that are very, very interesting. And it's nice to not play the same scale for years and years and years. So this gives me some ideas, some variations, and some freshness in practice. And at the end of the day, they're just scales and exercise up and down the fretboard. So which is, it's really nice. I'm having fun with it. And the last thing that I do for the warm-up, actually at this point I'm already warmed up, what I do to complete it is some barré exercises. You might have seen from my Instagram, sometimes I share when I practice those things. It's a simple exercise, 3 lines really, and I repeat this over and over again to just practice the barré endurance. The exercise is super simple, it's like this. So if you repeat this about 4 to 5 times, you already start to feel the tiredness. So overall, this practice routine, it takes about 1 hour. And it goes really fast because I do all these exercises. This, for instance, I will do like 2 minutes because of you get tired and it's not the point to just destroy my hand in 10 minutes of only barres. But some others I take a little bit longer. The scales, for instance, I do maybe in 15 minutes or something. But overall, it takes 1 hour. One could think of it as some sort of semi-technique session. But when I do technique, I prefer to focus on maybe 2-3 topics only for much longer period of time. And this is just to have a walk through the most important things that I need to practice, to warm up, to wake up my brain, my fingers, and to do something that even if the world finishes right now and is on flames and I cannot practice the rest of the day, I will already feel okay because I have done something positive for my playing. My second warm-up routine is completely different. It's not based anymore on little exercises, little excerpts, scales, and things like that, but it's much more focused on playing through studies. Here, let me show you. The ones that I'm currently doing are these ones in the section of play. I start with this one of Coste. It's really great for damping. So I'm doing what I preach in my tutorials, and I made 2 tutorials on damping, and I do almost every day, if not every day, this etude for the bass damping, which goes like this. Then I play some tremolo for the right hand precision of the strings, just because it's such a particular technique that it's good to have it somehow cover it on a regular basis. And then I do like mostly other fingerings and tremolo. Tremolo is rather fast and relatively easy. I say relative because it's actually pretty hard to make a good regular tremolo. And that's why I practice with these different combinations, which really make me think as I'm playing. And then I have the chance to pay attention to exactly how is my attack on the strings, not to get too much nail sound, and yeah, all this stuff basically. And then I also try to do some variations, like play the tremolo super piano and then the bass very loud, the other way around. And this is voice control that is a very good practice, really. Tremolo is really a good exercise for the right hand, of course. And then to learn a little bit of more conducting a melody and being more legato, longer phrasing. So it has many benefits, not just technical, I think. And then I make a run through the etude number 1 of Villalobos. Then I also do number 2 to compensate the arpeggio, let's say, blocked type of practice with a more linear and going up and down like crazy all the time. Usually I would practice this around through slow. There makes no point just to play it fast and make mistakes. So I would take the tempo like a tempo that more or less I can control the sound, the slurs. I can control when all the barré second section comes in. I can start to work a little bit on dynamics and just fix, let's say, the piece on my hands. Then I play etude number 3 to have slurs. So I have a little bit of the complete pack: arpeggios, scales, and slurs. And this etude is really cool for that. And well, slurs, slurs, slurs. Then on the last block of this warm-up routine, I play this endurance study of sort. I call it endurance study because it's crazy heavy, but of course it's not called like this. And it's this one. And it's basically like the barré exercises, but in steroids. It's really hard. Just get through the entire study until the end. Lento, because it's written lento, so slowly. It's really heavy. The third warm-up routine that I told you about is a routine that, well, I don't really call it routine. It's just something that I, by default, I do before starting to practice. I never just start to practice out of the blue. Like, I first need to just move a little the fingers. So I will do the combination of 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1 in ascending and descending slurs. And I will go from the 7th fret, from 6th string, down to the 1st, down back to the 6th, and then down to the 6th fret. Same thing, down to the 1st, up to the 6th, 5th fret, and so on until I get here, and then walk my way back again. Similar to what we did the workout with the slurs, but a little bit more complicated version rather than just 2 fingers. And then basically I will do all the other combinations. So 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. That's it. This it usually takes about 10 minutes, and I do that while I'm watching something, and I just do this in automatic pilot to move the hands. If my right hand is super stiff, then I will play something like the Coste or the first Villalobos again, and then I'll go ahead and practice. So this is my warm-up routines that I use during my day. The first one to start of the day, the second one and the second session of practice. Now, if you wrote the comment down below, check it and let me know how far off you were from your routine to mine. Most likely it will look completely different. I made my routine through the years as I saw what I needed the most and what helped me the most. So the best thing is that you would have your own routine that fits your needs. I don't think it's any good if you just copy what somebody else does just for the sake of copying it, to hoping that it works. Just take the chance to maybe see as you play which are the aspects of playing that are the most difficult and unnatural to you, and then get some exercise for it. If you don't have exercises, make them up. It's very important to be creative, to just make up exercises. If I could give you some ideas with pieces, pick also similar pieces or look for similar pieces with arpeggios or slurs or something of a lower level if you need. And of course, if you have a teacher, ask your teacher about this, talk to him or to her, and come up with a personalized plan. That's what I do for my students. Each student is different. They all have different struggles, they all have different skills, so that should be a quite personalized plan. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful and inspiring to you, and hopefully will help you rethink your warm-up plan. Also because I know that some of you will not have the time to have daily technique and then program and everything and have that many hours in a day to dedicate to the guitar. So sometimes instead of thinking to have pieces and technique and everything, maybe it's easier to have a shorter warm-up routine, but that you include all your technique issues in there, and then you can go ahead and play music. That's why in my routine I try to have a more technical routine and a more musical routine with the studies, and have a good complement of both worlds. So if you usually have about 1 hour time to practice, I would suggest you to make a routine of about 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and maybe even split different exercises for different days so that you can focus on 2 or 3 exercises the first day, then 2 or 3 exercises the second day, and the third day you come back to the first day exercises. So you always have variety and you always keep pushing the skills that you actually want to develop. And then of course it's important that you practice the music, and within the music you can do a lot of technical progress. So don't forget to like and subscribe if this was useful, and if you would like to join our live stream, you will have the link below. You can join as a patron, and I will be super happy to chat with you during the live stream and see you in the forum of the academy. And of course, if you need advice with your own personal routine and you don't have an accessible teacher to whom to ask, you can ask this in the forum if you join as a patron, and I can help you out with a personalized routine and check on your work on a regular basis to help you in your own guitar journey. Thanks for watching the video, practice well, and I'll see you in the next one.